What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex, and you're watching the Ragin Ronin review. I got a review for you. 2 Wednesdays ago, I checked out Ghostbusters Afterlife, and that was 2 Wednesdays ago because it came out on a Wednesday 2 weeks ago. And that was the opening night. I checked it out in IMAX. I couldn't wait for this film. First of all, I just want to apologize that I'm reviewing this now. I've been really busy with some more important things, and I've been also lazy. But anyways, here's my review, and I couldn't wait to check out this film because, first of all, I'm a huge Ghostbusters fan. I freaking love the original that came out in 1984, and the second one is not that great, but I just love the original so much. It's a film that I can watch again and again, and I still love it. It's the characters. The characters are what make it so good, and of course the writing is so amazing as well. And I just couldn't wait for a proper conclusion, or rather a proper a third film to make it a trilogy. And you know how Hollywood is so obsessed with, I like to call them retro revival sequels. And what I mean by that is taking a property from the 80s or 90s and then making a sequel to it more than 15 or 20 years later. They're really obsessed with taking these properties that existed before and then, continuing where they left off. And it's very nostalgic. That's why I call them retro revival sequels. And Ghostbusters Afterlife, let me tell you, when I saw the trailer for it, the very first trailer, it made me shed a tear. It was so nostalgic. I posted my reaction on Instagram, and that was a genuine emotional reaction to the trailer. And watching this film, oh man, it was crazy nostalgic. This film, directed by Jason Reitman, who happens to be the son of Ivan Reitman, who directed Ghostbusters 1 and 2. And also, by the way, fun film fact, that Jason Reitman was a bratty kid at the beginning of Ghostbusters 2 who said that he thinks the Ghostbusters are full of crap. But anyways, moving on. Jason Reitman is the director for Ghostbusters Afterlife, and I'm so glad it's Jason Reitman. Even if Ivan Reitman didn't want to return back to direct the third one, Jason Reitman is the perfect man for the job because he really brought the nostalgia level to right to where it needs to be. This film hit me right in the feels. I love this film. It is so much fun. I think that it went in the right direction. And I know there was a lot of I don't want to say drama or controversy, but more like I know there were a lot of behind the scenes things going on that prevented this film from getting made. One of them namely being, okay, fine, they didn't have the right script, and also Bill Murray was being very difficult because he didn't want to return for the sequel. So now they finally put together a really good script for the boys to come back, and they're finally back. Now, let's just talk about the film as a whole. I like this film the same way I like Star Wars The Force Awakens. Star Wars The Force Awakens, even though, there's a lot of really hardcore toxic Star Wars fans out there, they didn't really like it. I still love Star Wars The Force Awakens because it was very nostalgic, and it introduced brand new characters, took it in a new direction, but also in a way, it was kind of a rehash of what worked in the original trilogy, and that was A New Hope, okay? So this film kind of does the same thing. It brings in a new cast, it takes it into a brand new setting, but they took what worked in the first one, the original one, and they kind of brought those elements back to this one. And that's why this one works so much, because it is just full-on nostalgic. And you see a lot of visual elements and Easter eggs that really call you back to the original film. And in a way, some fans might think it's just full-on fan service, but it works. There's been such a huge delay between, or like a gap between Ghostbusters films that, unlike Star Wars, which, the prequels came out in 2005, the gap is much larger. We haven't seen Ghostbusters or a proper Ghostbusters film in a really long time. So therefore, like one that really counts, if you know what I mean, for a really long time. So therefore, when we see those Easter eggs, it just has way more of a nostalgic, impactful feeling to us. You know what I'm saying? So that's why the fan service really works. I really like the story in this one. I like that it's a more self-contained story as opposed to like a larger scale story like the ones in the first film and Ghostbusters 2. This is way better than Ghostbusters 2. I actually just watched Ghostbusters 2 recently. It's not a very good film, okay? But what makes it watchable is the guys, the boys. You know, I'm so glad to see them back in this film. But let's talk about the cast. I love the new cast. I really do. I specifically love, of course, McKenna Grace. She is absolutely wonderful. She is I think the heart. She's the heart in this film. She looks the part, she acts the part, and she is a full-on Ghostbuster. And then you have Logan Kim, who's, you know, I wouldn't say he's over the top, but he's just quirky, and his character is such a contrast to McKenna Grace's character that it just works. It's kind of like how all the different Ghostbusters in the first film have different, very distinct personalities, and now you have that in a more updated, modern version of itself. So I really like that. Of course, Finn Wolfhard is in this film, and you know he was a Ghostbuster in Stranger Things, so it just really, really works. Okay, I love the cameos. Annie Potts, okay, that was freaking great, okay? And there's like a new version of Slimer, which I think they're calling it the Muncher. So that's very, very nostalgic. And I want to talk about something that really, really resonated with me and a lot of fans. The sound effects. The sound effects of the Ecto-1 driving around and that siren. I would never have believed and thought in a million years that a siren of a vehicle would just give me goosebumps. But you know what gave me the biggest goosebumps? Okay, the igniting of the proton pack. That sound effect I haven't heard in a long time, and hearing it in an IMAX auditorium was just sends chills down my body. It was amazing. And the way that the cinematography, where they filmed the close-ups and the pans and you know, of all the details of the proton pack as that sound was going on, it was such an amazing moment. And of course, seeing things like the ghost trap and the Ghostbusters uniforms and so many extra details like or elements like the PKE meter. There's so many little things that just make you go like, okay, this is Ghostbusters done right, okay? This is the proper sequel, a proper trilogy, a proper ending. It is just so good. Paul Rudd, okay? Oh man, he's just, he's great in this film. Paul Rudd is great in every film. He's just a likable character. He plays a really likable, believable character, and it just works. I also love practical effects, okay? That's the thing about a lot of these retro revival films. Practical effects, okay? Something that is worked so well in the originals, then they bring that more in the they bring that back in the sequels, and not everything has to be CG. And I want to talk to you about you know, it's been 2 weeks. This is not spoilerish. I mean, you've already seen it in trailers, but there's a sequence involving like a car chase with Ecto-1 and the new Slimer, okay? That scene just, not only did it bring me goosebumps, but like I was smiling from ear to ear, like the whole way through. I was like, because it was such a fun scene. It was like it was kind of like when you're watching the first Slimer scene in the original Ghostbusters. It was so much fun, and it was funny, and it was exciting. This took it, they amped it up to another level, and that was that was so great. Finally, the last thing I want to say is that it was great to see the boys back. Like every single one of them. All 4 of them. It was, it just gave me a great feeling. As soon as they showed up, I was like, yes, they're back. And it was so great. I mean, it didn't even matter that they looked old. It didn't matter that they aged, they gained weight. Okay, it doesn't matter. When I saw them started talking, and when I saw them started reciting dialogue, and when I saw them starting like acting the same way, like it's like they never left. And that just, oh man, that hit me right in the feels, and it was just so wonderful to see them again. Yeah, oh man, what a great film. So why isn't this a 10 out of 10? I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. And I understand the direction they were going for. They're looking for like a brand new cast, a passing of the torch, and I get that. I just wanted to see more of the guys, okay? I wanted to see the original Ghostbusters more. They were in it, but they're not the main characters of the film, okay? It's the new young cast that are the main characters. I'm just saying that I would give this film a 10 out of 10 had they been in it more. All right, I would have loved, freaking loved that, and I thought this film would have been perfect. But it is already perfect the way it is. But it would have just been nice. I understand what Jason Reitman's going for, and like that was the intention. Okay, it's not like they did anything wrong. It's just something that I personally would have wanted. But other than that, it's really great, and I can't wait to watch it again. Thanks for watching. My name is Alex Yu, and I'll see you next time. Peace.